30 months down, yeah, the industry's been bruised, but we didn't fold, we tightened our screws, while others froze. We hacked the maze, now we're running the table in a brand new phase. You feel that thump, that's pressure to grow. Hirings, chaos, turnovers, a show. But we don't stall, we break the mold, rewrote playbook, stories told bold. This is the Staffing Playbook, unfiltered raw. Steven brings the grit, sharp as a claw. G-Money's got bars, rhythm and heat. She slaps with the insight, never offbeat. Tim's the compass, reads the signs. Precision moves, sharp minds aligned. And Richard, sparks fly when he speaks. No filler, no cap, just wins every week. Forget the fluff, we're past the pitch. We give you the code, no bait and switch. From forklifts to C-suite execs, we staff the trenches, we've earned respect. Strategy, hustle, leadership flex. We fix the mess, then place the best. Want real growth? We've cracked the map. This ain't just a podcast, this is your slap. So plug in, lean in, and feel the sound. The playbook's open, let's slow it down. Let's get to work, it starts right now. This is the Staffing Bar.
You know this is going to be a special episode when we have a different intro just for these two. Richard, Kim, welcome back to the Staffing Playbook podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Welcome back, G-Money.
Living the dream. Thank you.
Sure. I talk to you almost every day, so I'm not welcoming you back.
Wow. So this is going to be a really fun episode. We're doing a limited series every other week with Kim and Richard. We're bringing the best of the best from the industry to talk about what is actually happening in the industry and how do we stay ahead of the trends. There's been a lot that's gone on. We started on it 2 weeks ago, talked about some of the shifts from the job boards and the issues there. We talked about social media. We talked about the economy. Kim and I had a one-on-one last week and really did a deep dive on a few topics. And this information's moving fast, and there's a lot that's going on. So Richard and Kim, right now, I think that's the trend that we're seeing, hearing from our own clients. We're seeing it in a lot of these industry reports that time to fill is now moved to like the third spot of priorities for customers. Back in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, time to fill mattered. And quality was maybe second to that. But now quality is at the top. It shifted big time. What's your take on that? Who wants to take a jab at it?
I'll go first. Heck yeah. So I've always said quality's first. It's like everybody else was pushing that shit out. I was always like, qualifying them and stuff like that. And Stephen G. Money and Kim, now you see where it's coming to the forefront now. You just can't push bodies out there because they're going to flip over and boom, they're gone. And we all know onboarding costs thousands of dollars. So now we're finally catching up. Staffing is after about 10 years that now you have to take the time, build that relationship with the candidate for sure.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to that. And I know, Shark, you and I have talked about this quite a bit. So let's say you're working for a staffing company that does predominantly contract temp placements. And I think the one, complaint that I've heard from client companies for years and years is, gosh, company X places contractors, temps out here on assignment. They forget about them. They never talk to them again. And what happens is, of course, those contractors can start to have like issues or questions or maybe slight problems. And if we're not talking to them to help work through that, what happens, right? They bounce off of the assignment. Hiring managers going, oh my gosh, I got to start all over again in terms of hiring. So I think that, to the Shark's point, that fits hand in hand with quality. It's not done after we place the individual, especially in a contract environment. It goes throughout the tenure of that assignment, right? And make certain that they finish and make certain that the client gets their project, delivered and the work done, in budget and on schedule. And I think that's where a great opportunity there for staffing companies to really differentiate themselves and stand out, because a lot of staffing companies just really kind of fall down on that part and don't have a process in place for it. So huge opportunity there to shine.
Okay, before you guys jump in, I'm going to say this. TEMP is a 4-letter word. like F-U-C-K. Do not ever use temp anymore. It's a contract worker. Straight up,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
Hate the word temp.
I know it does sound like you're there for 5 hours and you got eaten
Yeah,
by a lunch
yeah.
monster at 12 noon and you never came back at lunch. So we will banish that from our vocabulary movement. We will
Banned.
actually call that contractor.
Go
So
on.
great opportunity to shine and show that you have a support, and process around supporting contractors on assignment, and
See-
it all fits into quality.
See, I already always called them runners, at least when I was, running a 360 disc and all this, because like, that's what we call them. But I mean, it's not temp. Like, these are actual people and quality matters. And the thing is, like, for some of those runners and contractors, this could turn into a long-term opportunity for them, depending on the project. And also, one of the biggest things when it comes to clients, when it comes to having quality, that goes and it helps reduce the actual turnover rate in the long run. And if you can go and make sure that you are putting in quality candidates and quality associates, it's better for the business on both the sales side, the ops side, and building long-term partnerships.
Yep. Okay.
It's really, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, Kim.
And think about it. What are we actually selling when we're out there, right? We're selling the fact that we can solve the client's problem, right? We're going to deliver a result to them, but we do that through, either the permanent placement or through these contractors. So if we're giving them a shoddy workmanship type of a product, I mean, my gosh, that's really what we're promising, is to deliver that resource that's going to go and solve their business issues and problems and derive results for them. So, what's more important?
Yeah, we're selling solutions.
Yes.
And
We're
then on
not
top of
selling
that, like,
bodies. We're selling solutions. Exactly.
we're selling solutions, and then on top of that, like, you can make a huge difference in a candidate or an associate's life by providing them that opportunity, by actually getting to know them and helping them actually move forward, because you could help them land their dream job. Or if they
100%.
want to relocate, you can help them do that. And that's why we are in the business of people and helping people on both sides. But
Say
we
that
do it by
again.
selling
Say
solutions.
that again, because I got to tell you, staffing firms out there, the money comes on the back end, my friends. At the end of the day, and I think a lot of staffing firms out there, to be honest with you, it's all about putting somebody in that seat, because that's revenue. We got to forget about that. At the end of the day, it's about somebody's livelihood. Seriously, the money comes on the back end. Trust me, it will. It will grow that way if you think that way.
It's mindset, right? Would you guys agree that it's your mindset? You have to have within this industry a very long-term mindset and realize that, candidates become clients, clients become candidates. So there may not be a dollar in it for you today, but I can guarantee you, if you can work with that candidate, work with that client, and help them through whatever it is right now that they need help with, without there being an immediate reward or immediate return, it will come back to you in aces down the road. But you have to have the long-term mindset and be able to do things and help, knowing that it may not pay out for you, tomorrow, but eventually it will.
Yeah, because that whole turn and burn thing, that does not work anymore.
No, not at all.
And, like, especially with me coming from like hospitality, it's like turn and burn tables or flip over the bar or whatever. No, these are people who are coming and choosing to have an experience with you. And this is where, like, I fell in love with staffing, because I love people genuinely. But it's literally the same thing. Like, I built so many regulars who I still talk to and I'm really good friends with, because I got to know them. I let them have that time. And it's the same thing when you are trying to recruit people. You learn about them, and then this is where you can find out what they want. And with the quality, it comes.
And you said it right there real quick. It's what they want, not what we want. And I think sometimes recruiters, you force yourself in, or stop using that recruiter word either. Be a job agent, represent the candidate. It's so easy, man. Simple words like that, the candidate's going to love.
Okay. So I want to get super specific and tactical here for a minute, guys, because we are living this right now. Every agency is living this, but what we're dealing with with our agency right now is really dynamic, and I want to talk about it. Okay. So I know the industry is still contracting. We're still down double digits compared to last year. We're not seeing that 1% increase as the ASA thought that would happen by now. But here's the thing: we're growing like crazy here in our agency. and we have high volume clients. Like we seriously went from 50 to 550 in just 2 months with one client. We went from 70 to over 300 with another client. And then we have, our normal clients we've been servicing in and out of, for years that don't have any openings or some backfills here and there. And so we're getting a blend of, we need 200 people by next week to, hey, I just need one person whenever you can get them. It's just all over the board. And so we feel naturally we've felt the pressure to, produce the 200 people on time and in budget. But if we go the same way we've always done it, we're going to have high attrition. We're going to, lose face with that customer and maybe we get replaced. So we have to be very careful now. We also have businesses that are using staffing and they're getting kind of the same old results like we've always have back from 2019. We met with a prospective customer that high volume, they have an agency, they're getting the positions filled, but they're more skilled positions with forklift operators and above. The agency has not been able to handle that. And so we went and met with this team and they're like, hey, can you do it? Can you get these positions filled? Every other agency around the corner from us, what do you think they would have said immediately without thinking?
Yes.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Yes.
Don't say that ever.
You know what I said?
No, that's a false expectation.
Exactly right.
Yeah. I said, maybe, but there are some things we're going to have to discuss when it comes to these roles,
Yes.
because I want to know why these other agencies, why internally you can't get them filled. Help me understand why they can't get them filled. And so they did. They walked us through it. And so we're talking about some very specific strategies that are going to cost more for them, right? And no other agency is talking to them about that. They're just saying, yep, we can do it. And we're not clear on how we can successfully recruit for them without meeting some of these, criteria to improve the offering. And so now we're having these conversations, but it's from them, what they shared is this is a breath of fresh air. Like you guys are being real and you're partnering with us. You're at the table and we're going to figure this out together. And we asked for their commitment. Will you partner with us? Can we strategize together and let's try some stuff? If it doesn't work, let's try something else.
Trial by error, buddy. Trial by error. All the time I say that. You know what, Steve, real quick, I'm going to jump in there because working with Labor Ready, I've done the same thing with the FedExes and the Amazons and all that stuff. And I tell people all the time, you could not find 200 people in 1 week. You're just throwing bodies out there. Maybe you have somebody on site there checking people in every day, like a counselor, somebody can say, hey, you're having a bad day, because these people are just walking off the job at noon. You know that all the time. Or jumping in their car and never coming back after lunch. So there's got to be a solution, which I love what you and G Money are doing, is like you're actually sitting down and seeing how you can work this together. Most staffing firms, I'm going to tell you, I deal with them all the time and I laugh. They just come in, get the contract and say the same shit over and over again. Just throw stuff out there.
Here's the other problem that we're also facing. Some of these high volume customers are still treating this as transactional, throw me bodies, even though they know that's not the right plan. They talk to us like it's transactional, right? And I'm not talking about these specific customers, but this is what we're seeing out there. And so you have some companies, most are shifting. This is what that is telling you. They want quality of hire, but some of these HR leaders that have been around through this for many years, they're just like, I need the positions filled so the line leads stop yelling at me and the department head and the plant manager. And so they're still treating it like we used to in 2019, and it's not helping, right? The turnover's high. It's just turn and burn. So here we are talking about quality of hire matters, but as agency partners, we're not treating it that way, and some of our customers are not treating it that way either. How do we mend this? How do we fix it?
I mean, here's the thing. Back in the day when I was doing sales, instead of talking to whomever the hiring manager was, which I did, obviously, because there's always multiple people that are involved.
Yeah.
When it comes to getting a contract signed, we all know that, but I actually would request to be able to go speak with the direct supervisor of whoever was going to be there. And I would ask them, what are the problems that you are seeing? Okay.
Frontline management. You're talking to frontline management.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's not necessarily the hiring manager. It's the person who actually has to
It's on the floor.
manage these people, who's on the floor, who's seeing this every day, because at the end of the day, you are solving their problems.
Yeah.
Not just the entire company's problems,
Yeah.
their problems, and that reduces.
But here, real quick, here's what happens with this, because I deal with this all the time, is a lot of these managers, even on the floor, don't want to say anything because they feel like they're only I hate to say it, like a contract worker, temp. They're not part of the company, and they just want to keep it under the radar. So
Yeah.
I got to tell you, if a company doesn't, after 90 days, if you're not going to follow some of the stuff I have, I'm out of there. See ya. I'm not wasting my time. There's enough business out there. So that's where you guys have to think and say, is it worth our time and effort to just keep burning and turning if they don't change?
So,
I can pull things out of people.
in G-
Okay.
Ooh, look at that.
it is okay to walk away. It is okay to politely say, hey, we can't
Yeah.
be a partner to you. We can't deliver under these parameters of A, B, and C. And if they're not willing to work with you, right, and refine the process, like Stephen talked about earlier, then it's okay to say, hey, we're not going to be successful. If we said yes, we would just overpromise and clearly underdeliver, and that's not going to do anyone any good. Right now, we'll point you in another direction, and we'll check back in, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and see how things are going. And then at that point, when they see things have exploded and blown up, they may be a little bit more amenable to our process. But the point is, it's okay to walk away and say, no, we can't be a good partner. We can't do this. And then G Money, you hit on something very, very good. I want to jump in. You're basically saying, hey, you got to get to that user buyer, right? They call it the different buyers versus like the gatekeeper technical buyer, which is, HR, talent acquisition, or the MSP. Get to that person who's feeling the pain, right? And you're going to hopefully be able to go and, consult with them and advise them and counsel them to the process that needs to be put in place so they can be successful. But if you can't, and they still don't fall in line to everybody's point here, it's best to tell them we can't deliver for you right now. Let's touch base again in X amount of time. It's okay to walk.
How many times have I gone and I said, like, this is actually like, because my whole business degree, all of that, like, this is the one piece of information in like sentence that I have taken away. And it's the best piece of advice ever, especially when you're in sales and especially when you're in staffing. No deal is better than a bad deal.
Amen.
100%.
So the Staffing Hub released a report a couple months ago, the state of staffing in 2025, and it clearly stated, among the cohorts they surveyed, the agencies that are seeing growth this year, right? They are prioritizing quality placements.
Bingo.
So everyone's around scrambling, taking whatever they can get, right? They're just begging for orders,
Grabbing scraps.
and they're still not growing. But the ones that are growing have said, you take those, you waste your money, your time, and your efforts, and we'll prioritize quality.
You know what's great about that, Steve? When you walk away within 6 months, 4 months, guess who they're calling back? They call Shark back and say, dude, can you save the day? Guess what? The rates go up. I become more of an on-demand. They listen to you. So that's that FOMO effect. I'll walk away. You can go with ABC Staffing. But in 6 months, you're going to call me back.
Yeah, respect you more for doing that and being honest with them versus kind of blowing smoke, on them and saying you can do all these things and then you can't. Yeah, you're right. A lot more respect, a lot more trust, and you've built that rapport by walking away saying, hey, we're not the right fit for this right now. Let's talk about it now.
Well, here's the disconnect, guys, on this is the sales rep and the recruiter are never connected together. It's usually the sales rep just trying to get the contract. So that's where the recruiter needs to be involved in this too. And the sales rep needs to possibly recruit too. So there's the big disconnect there. They're trying to get the contract, trying to get the commission. Then it all falls on the recruiter that they can't handle it because 100%. It's a bad job order. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen this happen in the past. Like
all the time.
Stephen and I, we've seen this in the past with previous companies and
For sure.
Ooh.
So
you guys tried.
Drama.
Woo! Let's lighten up.
G-Money, have you tried in the past what we found to be really helpful, because you bring up a great point, Shark, the disconnect between sales and recruiting, taking where it makes sense, of course, taking recruiters out on sales calls, right? They ask different questions. They bring in a different viewpoint.
100%.
They can sometimes add total clarity to where, a salesperson gets stuck or they don't know what to ask, or they're just thinking about it in terms of, I got to get the sale. And then there comes that internal accountability, right? And that daily whiteboard meeting. We're all in this together. It's a marriage, right? Sales and recruiting. And if sales doesn't have the job buttoned up and the job is unrealistic, it's for recruiters to push back. and say, hey, we're not working this job until you can go and get X, Y, and Z, answered or straightened out or modified. So it's really like, I think, a dual accountability that a lot of companies from sales and recruiting don't have, but they should have. Hold each other accountable on it, right?
Exactly,
Don't work the job if it's not buttoned up.
That's where that SOW comes in, right up the bat, right there.
Right. Even like the whole like zipper effect. And it's where everything needs to be cohesive.
That's right.
And you've got to have
Like links on a
sales and
zipper.
Marketing, and you've also got to have your operations team, your recruiting team. Everything needs to be seamless and connected, because it's not just one person doing one thing.
Yep.
It takes
It's
it
a whole
takes,
team,
what
yeah.
was it is like the whole thing. It takes a village.
Exactly.
All right, Hillary Clinton.
We went there.
It wasn't a bad thing.
At least you didn't
Ding.
call me. Oh my goodness. What was that woman
Trump.
who? Oh no. No, from Alaska. I can see Russia from my house.
Oh, you mean Sarah Palin?
Yeah, I used to get that all the time.
Sarah
because I
Palin.
met with glasses.
All right,
We are not endorsed by any political party.
We
by
are
the way.
not.
Yes.
We are not. All right,
Richard.
Please, let's put that in there.
Richard, we got a question from the audience. I think's for you.
Do you think sourcers save recruiters time or waste of resources? Okay, so here's what's happening with sourcers. I'm going to tell you straight up. Voice AI is the way to go for sourcing. Straight up, automatically, 100%. I tell anybody that's what you got to do now. Sourcing is not a human element anymore. Just straight up. I mean, you got to have the voice AI. It's a game changer. Connect with me or anybody like that. I'll guide you in the right ones. But yeah, that's what it's about. It's going to save the recruiter time. Hell yeah, it's going to save them time, a lot of time.
Totally agree. And who wants to pay for that anymore? I mean, most staffing companies don't want to pay for that role. To your point, Rich, when they can go and actually, have it be performed by AI.
Well, here's the question though. If you're a sourcer, you're making 100 phone calls a day. Just call. After about 12 o'clock, you're just wore out. You're just clicking the button, hanging back up. Hi, you need a job, need a job. Voice AI is always happy. They're always on point, and they're 24/7. I mean, what else do you need?
And then on top of that, because the average time to hire someone is about 37 hours in a week, okay, to hire one individual. So voice AI, that's a time saver, which also helps reduce in labor costs.
And cheaper, right? Cheaper.
Yeah, and this really tees up our next topic. We're seeing these emerging trends again. These are reports from SIA, ASA, Staffing Hub, and beyond. The tech budgets for staffing firms have significantly increased, right? It's their top priority, and the ones that are not making it a priority, they're going to be in trouble. But AI is not just a necessity. It's not. I mean, it's now a necessity. It's not an option, and we've got to get behind it. And me being an AI freaking nerd, I'm still like behind, right? We're still trying to find the right tools that meet our business use case. And the AI voice, Richard, we're going to be adopting that in the next couple of weeks. We're going to test it in a market and work out the kinks. And then if it goes well, we're going to roll it out company wide. And it's a significant investment. I mean, AI is still, it's cheap in some cases, use cases, but when you're getting to phone screening, applicant screening, you're going to pay a little bit for that. But think of the cost compared to a salary, it's much lower.
Oh, and health benefits and everything else. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Plus, we're in the AI world. It's just not staffing. It's the whole freaking world in the universe. So we got to adapt to it. And I keep saying this over and over again. I don't think our industries, they're scared of it still. Don't be fearful of it. Jump on it. If the shark can jump on the AI highway for the last 2 years, you guys can too, because I'm the most human person ever. And I'm just jumping on AI all the way too. So do it.
And here's the thing. I think it's about finding that delicate balance of using technology and AI versus the human touch, essentially. Because it's like, yes, for the voice AI kind of doing the pre-screenings, that's going to save recruiters time, right? Because they can go funnel through people quickly.
Save money. Save time, not your job. Remember that, right?
Save time, not your job. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, then you have more time to go spend finding that quality candidate versus going through a whole, like, a flooded sea, of candidates. Because I remember, like, I had days where I would walk in and I would have over 500 resumes waiting in my inbox.
Yep.
So guess what voice AI does now? No ghosting anymore, right? because it's going to contact everybody. There we go. We're
Whoa,
solving everything. You're like the Ghostbusters. Boom.
Richard, did you solve the ghosting problem?
There it is right there. Voice AI, my friends. Who you going to call? The AI.
Yeah. But Steve, did you see that actually today, I think this was Staffing Hub that reported this, 61% of staffing companies today are using AI in some capacity. And that was 48% back in 2024. So in terms of the folks that they surveyed, 61%, that's showing some adoption, some good adoption, which is great, versus 48% last year.
Yeah, and I think that I'd say that numbers probably doesn't tell the whole story, because people say, well, I use large language model to help me craft emails. Yes, you're using AI and that is helping you in your business, but I think adding a layer of technology within your user interface, probably much lower adoption. Richard, you're really, both of you, Kim and Richard, you're exposed to a lot of different companies. Are you seeing that adoption going up on the user interface too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, you have to, or you're gonna sink. It's the truth right now. You know what I mean? And the way you use it. I mean, I'm gonna tell you straight up here. Everybody talks about AI. Let's simplify AI real quick, guys. It's on our cell phone. It's social media's AI. I mean, really, at the end of the day, everybody keeps thinking AI is just all this new stuff. AI has been around for a while.
Yes,
we're adapting it now. So.
Yeah. And also you're starting to see some staffing companies that are a little savvy that have already been doing maybe like project business, starting to team and become certified partners. Like I know a couple that are certified IBM Watson partners right now. And so they go out hand in hand and of course sell the projects. And of course, these are more IT in nature, but they're starting to actually partner with companies that are like at the forefront of it, like the IBM Watson suite of products and services, and going out and pitching business together. So you're seeing more of that, at least from the savvy ones.
Or did you say my company too, Lex Duo? Wink, wink. I'm just messing with you.
Shameless plug.
Here's my plug.
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to plug IBM, because gosh knows they're certainly not paying us for this or even involved whatsoever. So it's just more of an example. You're right.
Like Burt's Bees, please.
Yeah.
Later. Yeah. By the way, later tonight, IBM will be on your phone. By the way, you know that you'll see a scroll and it'll say something about IBM. Guaranteed.
You're right. You're totally right. Yeah.
On all our phones, by the way.
Hey, speaking of marketing and intrusive ads, check out this intrusive billboard that we are going to be getting, I think, pushed out next week across up and down the state of Utah. Check this out.
Yeah, Yeti.
99 problems, but staffing ain't one. You got the Yeti pointing up at the Yes logo. How fun is that?
I love it.
I love it, man.
So here, I gotta tell you, Christina Williams, she, because it was like, hey, let's go and try to figure out something. And I was like, oh, okay, like just thinking. And then she said that. I was like, that's the one. That's the one. Christina Williams, you are the GOAT.
We even have stickers with them.
Okay, we need
whole
Yeti ball.
Campaign.
We're going to get some Yeti beanie hats. Come on now. We got to get some Yetis.
We'll get you guys some.
Oh, here, I got plenty. I'll mail you.
But it's a reminder that it's not all just AI, right? That's not going to solve your problem. That's going to help you solve problems. But traditional marketing still works if you do it right. It's all about your messaging and your target audience. And this is an awareness campaign that ties into 6 or 7 other campaigns that all, whether it's all omnipresent. So you're going to be seeing this campaign everywhere. We're going to be delivering donuts with the sticker on the box, right?
It's about a relationship, right? So building the relationship, the trust and the rapport, and again, figuring out how to solve their problems.
But brother, you know what's about it? It's quirky too. I love that. It's got a good tagline, 99 problems. There's another song like that too, isn't it? Like Jay-Z has one.
Yep. But here's the thing, like going back to the whole marketing piece of it, omni-channel marketing, you can't just be putting all of your money in one area or one resource. You need to diversify.
Yeah.
Yes. It's tools in a toolkit, right, G-Money?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Different tools in a toolkit, not one. You can't do just one. You have to do it all today.
And the thing is,
print, digital.
When you are pulling one lever, you've got to be ready to pull the other lever. And that's the way how I go when I think about it, especially with like sales, marketing, operations, recruiting. It's like you've got to be ready to pull, and you've got to have different tools, whether it is physical print, whether it is digital, whether it is mass emails, if it's templates. You've got to have ads online. You got to do your SEO. You've got to do your AEO. Like, there's so many different things that you have to be doing in order to make sure that you're reaching out to everyone.
100%. And remember
And how
that
about in
beer
person
coasters
marketing?
work too, friends.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, Shark. Oh my goodness. How about too? And I know you agree with us. You're big on it too. In-person marketing, like again, joining those professional associations, industry trade associations, getting out there and being present and in front of people that could potentially be your candidates or your clients, and navigating in those circles. That's so much stronger and more valuable than just sitting there doing nothing but beating your head against the wall through the phone. We have to use the phone. We have to use all these tools, but getting out of your chair and going in person and meeting these people, whether it be client visits or whether getting involved in the associations that match the industry that you're in, it will pay dividends. I did it, and I'm a firm believer in it. Join associations,
100%.
go out there, the ones that match you, get involved, make a commitment to yourself. You'll save so much time, and your business development will become so much simpler.
Yeah. Between like in-person networking events and being parts of these associations, but also physical drop-in cold calls. Think of it that way. Like when you're physically going in, and what I used to do, because I can do this in my state. I can't do it in Utah, but I would literally go buy like $100 in like scratcher tickets and put my business card and go say, take a chance on me, or I hope you get lucky.
Oh,
If you get
that's
lucky,
so
let me
nice.
know. And so do you know how much business, or at least do you know how many people actually would pick up the phone and I would get those meetings? Because
They never share the winnings though with you, would they?
Yeah, no, I wish.
But
But
just resourceful and creative, and I commend you for that, GB. So many people, in this industry, they get kind of stuck in this rut, right? And the difference between a rut and a grave is the size of a hole, right? And nothing more. So again, try different things, and what you came up with was pretty creative and resourceful. A lot of people wouldn't have thought of that. Why not? If you've got zero and you've got nothing, try something, right?
Love what you said there, Kim, because I tell you what, our industry is so freaking boring when it comes to swag gear. Nobody wants a stress ball. Yeah, you're bringing more stress. Nobody wants a damn gym bag. For me, I bring protein shakes. Medium shirt, I bring it and say, hey, want to muscle up your workforce? Stuff like that. Protein bar. Everybody's going to love a power bar, shit. I mean, let's have fun with it. And you know what? Guess what? ABC staffing firm's going to come in with their little stress ball or their pens. Nobody wants one of your damn pens anymore. I got to tell you straight up, these pens are usually suck from staffing firms.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or the cup. Remember the infamous cup?
okay,
Right?
Yes.
money
And then
men.
they line them up against the windowsill. The prospect will have you and 15 of your competitors and like all the coffee cups.
People will always use Post-it notes. Okay,
Post-its are everywhere.
money mints, and so I think about things like even hand sanitizer, anything, something that they will actually use where your brand is right in front of
A
them.
flash drive, GB. I
Oh,
like
don't-
to give out flash drives because let's face it, they're small, they're easy to carry, and incredibly useful. Right? They're not that much money either. That's my favorite thing to do is the flash.
So here's
We actually did battery packs, like small, slim. They fit in your pocket. You can put them in your wallet.
I love
Battery
them.
packs that were branded and it had different types of cords for the non-iPhone users too. Sorry.
ooh, we just
We're
went there.
We are throwing
It says
down.
peace. Come on, G Money. We're peace today.
Do we have to be
For those
but it's
iPhone users, it's
useful.
fine if they want to be 10 years
That's
behind
okay.
in technology.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Just swipe left to everything you just said. But the thing is, like, when we are getting marketing swag, we're thinking about actual useful things that
Yes.
will be in front of people.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know I fly through Post-it notes, right? Or would you go throw away a stack of Post-it notes if they're branded by a different company? Probably not.
No.
So here's what you do at the end, guys. Okay, so you roll in.
on their desk every day.
So if you roll in a cold call, okay, so you drop something for me, protein bar, something like that. They're like, do you have a business card? I turn around, they scan my shirt, my QR code's on the back. Goes right there. To their LinkedIn or whatever like that.
Ooh,
So,
Richard.
dude, they like to scan the shark and they think it's funny. And you got the admin going, giggling and shit like that. And then guess what? I call her back in 2 days. She'll give me every contact I need, email everything I want. I got her in my palm of my hand, guy or girl, doesn't matter. There it is. That's how you do it. Not roll in with a stupid cardboard business card. Nobody wants them because they have to type the email in and everything. It's all scanned these days. QR codes, my
Throw it
friends.
away. Yeah, they just
Hell
throw it
yeah.
away.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going
QR
off on a
code.
I
tangent
love
here.
it. Scan it.
So we went off on a tangent, what was good, but we were still talking a little bit about AI, and it's job boards are losing their effectiveness. Agencies are shifting their spend to smarter sourcing methods. Indeed and Glassdoor cutting over 1,300 employees due to the adoption of AI and changing market conditions. And so Ravi here, I hope I'm saying your name right, Richard, he's I think a little bit of tongue in cheek here, saying, yeah, AI voice does it all. If you like robotic outreach and ghosted interviews, if AI is doing all your work, you're probably not working with top talent, just top search results. How would you respond to that?
Okay, so here we go, brother, and I'm going to throw it down here. So on my end, it's sourcing. Sourcing is a total different word than recruiting. We're not recruiting. We're just trying to source the candidates, see if they're interested. The next level is the interview. So
Yep.
You're not ghosting any candidate because that's sourcing's level 1. So you're just trying to see if they're interested. If by chance they talk to AI and they don't show up for the interview it's scheduled, you schedule the interview. AI usually doesn't schedule the interview. At the end of the day, you still have to pick that phone up. That's just giving it a warm call to say, hey, they like the pay, they like the distance and everything like that. So just that's the intro. It's like a handshake. And then you pull the handshake in and you're giving it a hug on the call. Simple as that.
Yeah, I look, I get the perception out there. This is a stigma with AI, and there are some poor AI voice bots out there. I mean, they're probably the cheapest ones that people are like, oh, I'm adopting AI voice, and they get one that's just a decision call tree that's really an IVR.
Hey, by the way, Steve, I think they have a voice AI Galaxy one. I don't think they have an Apple one yet.
That's right. But no. Here's the thing, Richard, you're right. It's great for finding the talent faster than any one of your competitors within milliseconds, reaching out to all of the talent that you want to connect with based on the parameters you've set, skill sets, matching the job description with the resume, and immediately engaging with those candidates and talking to them whenever it's convenient for them, just transcribing, rolling up that summary to your recruiter and saying, look, Richard scored an 8 out of 10 for this role. Hot talent. Reach out to him now. Do you want me to send him a text to schedule an interview with you to your calendar? Do you want to reach out? You reach out. You talk to this candidate. You got to that candidate faster than anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Time to touch is one of the most important things when it comes to getting to candidates. Sorry, Richard.
And in the contract world, let's face it, it's just in time inventory, right? If you need to go and need 3 days or 2 days to identify a candidate for a contract job, you're already behind the 8 ball and you've already lost because that's just in time inventory. And Shark, I think what you're saying is, in terms of what Robbie's question was, is, hey, AI is a great tool for candidate identification, but where the qualification steps in, that's where the human element steps in, right? Two different things between identification and qualification. Right?
100%. Yeah. The AI will only do so much for you. And then the Yinzer voice for me from Pittsburgh comes in and boom, there you go for the hook. I mean, seriously, it's like that all the time. And I think a lot of people, I got to tell you guys, that they say voice AI can do everything. No, it can't. This is where we can't pull the fingers at things. Mm-hmm. Every solution here is not going to do everything for you. Nothing's perfect in the real world. So at the end of the day, it's a supplement. Everything that we're talking about today is a supplement. Guess who the core is? Still yourself.
That's right. And candidates, white collar candidates are only on the market for 10 days. Okay. So that 10 days, that's it. That was at least in 2024. It might be a little bit more in 2025, but that's the average is 10 days that they are on the market. So you have literally minutes to reach candidates when they're ready to start looking at the market. You have minutes to engage with them, because don't be naive to think that your competitors are not adopting technology and AI and other sourcing tools to get to them first. So you've got to find the best technologies that work for you, that'll reach your ideal candidates before anybody else. And then the rubber meets the road is when you actually get to talk to them in person, have that human connection. But you need to use technology and AI to bridge that time frame of I'm on the market versus now I'm off the market.
Yeah, and it could even be less time, Stephen, if for certain specialized skill sets like engineering, right? Shark, I know that engineering, certain IT skill sets that would be in demand, like IT security or Java developers, whatever it is that's in demand. It's probably going to be less than that number that you quoted, Steve.
Yeah,
depending on your skill set.
100%. All right, so but again, we're seeing all the mass layoffs because the mundane work that we all do, every position that has some of that mundane work, AI is being trained on these tasks, and they're getting better every day. And so, yeah, I expect more layoffs to happen because you now have technology that can just do all the clicking and typing for you on a lot of different tasks. You can train it. Like I've trained Operator to repeat all the tasks that I do in Salesforce. I had it watch me do it, and now it just does it automatically with a click of a button. And so now that saves me 4 hours a week that I can use to have more quality conversations with my people.
Or just bother me and give me more tasks. Sorry.
There you go.
It's true.
See, though, to your point, Steve, check out this stat. This caught my eye, and to the point where I had to print it out, right? Microsoft, their CEO said that in April, this was back in April, around 30% of their code is now written by AI. And it said that reality, likely factored into those recent layoffs that Microsoft had, just a few weeks ago. About 30% of their AI, 30% of their code's written by AI. And then Klarna, you guys heard of them, that payments platform. AI helped them, the CEO said, cut 40% of their workforce. Wow. That's their goal.
I mean, you guys got to figure this. I mean, we blame IBM and all these or whoever's, Microsoft who's laying these people off. They're trying to save money. They're a business too, just like a school and everything. So we can't stop being negative here. I mean, if you're an aggressive person, you can get a job pretty much anywhere if you try your best. AI will help you find a job. I mean, seriously. So I think at the end of the day, we got to stop pointing the fingers. Well, they're laying us off, and everybody's like, well, they should have never laid us off. I don't judge any company. I'm going to be honest with you. If you lay somebody off, then you just adapt and go somewhere else. I mean, it's that simple. Or call one of us, right? We'll find them a job.
Yeah. Well, they have to deliver shareholder value. It's about profitability, and labor's your biggest cost. So it is what it is. And to your point, you can go elsewhere.
Yeah. When you think about your COGS, so and
then I got to tell you, recruiting
business wise, yeah.
Recruiting's got lazy over the years, though. And in the last 5 years, it's got lazy since, right before COVID, remember? You could just hit a button on Indeed and you get 1 million candidates and you could place them. There's a lot of jobs. So we did get a little bit lazy on recruiting for several years. Now it's like back to you actually got to get out there and talk to people again. It's not just like you're getting a flux of 1 million people showing up and a lot of job opportunities, So you actually got to go back to the old school way and actually recruit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that goes to the whole human touch part where you get to actually know these people, where it goes back to the quality.
Yes, the beer chat, the coffee chat, my friends. I keep saying this over and over again. Don't just get them on the phone and the first thing you say is, I got a job for $20 an hour. Would you like it? Like, dude, I don't even talk about sometimes I get into a conversation about talking about beer or football or something like that. I forget about what we're talking about,
Richard,
but that point,
Richard, you didn't read this book, did you, for proper questions in an interview?
No, because I never follow that at all. I wouldn't be as shocked if I did that. No, I would never. I was never good at a script either. My first job when I had a script, I'm like, I just threw it away the second day. Guys, like, dude, as long as you can find people, man, you do it your way. But no, it's making yourself comfortable the way you do it. What's the appropriate way to talk to a candidate? There's really no appropriate way. I know I love that book and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I got my own way. I think you need to find your own way too, recruiters.
You do. Yeah. Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, I'm sorry, G-Money, you when you talked about, again, building the relationship, the trust and rapport, one thing too, beyond it becoming a quality placement is look down the road, right? That there's your referral pipeline. Referrals are so key. Instead of sitting, the most successful recruiters out there have that referral pipeline just coming in, funneling in year after year after year. It's the ones that never build the referrals and don't build that trust that continually, unfortunately, have to hit their head through a wall with prospecting. So the referral business is the ultimate reward for you as a staffer.
The ultimate referral. Guess where it's at? Facebook. Everybody you get hired, ask them to be your Facebook friend. It works. I swear. I've been doing it for 10 years. I love it.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I know AI is a hot topic, but you got to reverse engineer your use cases for AI. Look at your candidate experience from start to finish. Look at your client experience from start to finish. Look at your sales, your marketing, your operations, and then go, okay, what AI tools can I now plug into these areas of the process of the candidate journey, the client journey, and so that's pre-screening for the candidate journey, right? And so it doesn't have to replace us. It's just going to help us more. And it's we're seeing it in the data. If you're using AI and effectively, you are growing, and others that are not using AI or not using it effectively, their business is not growing.
And we do add, go jump in,
Oh,
GB.
okay. Well, just to go back to when we had that conversation with HR leaders, what was the number one thing that they said? It was the candidate experience.
It's got to be a good experience. What's my
It's got to be a good experience. And that's something that we got to keep remembering, because I think Ravi, I want to say that's your name, but like you can't replace people with AI, but AI can go and help you out with like certain tools. And I think at this point in time, every single staffing company needs to go and reevaluate right now what AI tools can assist within the candidate journey, right, to help increase like speed and efficiency, but also it's balancing that human touch, because you cannot replace humans when it comes to that whole like, hey, like you said, beer and coffee. Hey, how's your day going? What's your favorite team?
And
GB,
you know what?
Thread. I'm sorry, Shark. I gotta.
No, go ahead, Kim. You go first.
Wheels fall off. It's where the wheels fall
Age
off.
before beauty. Go ahead.
Here we go. So, GB, candidate experience, right? We do all this stuff, right? We do our best to create a positive experience, and then we go, especially if they're contractors, to onboarding, and then we just wash our hands of it. We walk away, and onboarding can be clunky. It can be difficult. It can be slow. And that's where the wheels can fall off and your candidate can go, hey, look, I'm out of here. I got another job. This is taking too long. It's too complex. So again, using whatever the AI tools that make sense for onboarding, right? From a background perspective and drug screening, whatever the requirements actually are. But that's where oftentimes staffers abandon the process and just go, phew, I made the placement. And the next thing you know, the poor candidate's just struggling with all those onboarding pieces, and it's taking too long, and they bag out of the process. So,
I mean, I think I told you this before, even when I put someone to work, if I did not have the chance to go physically meet them in the building, walk them up to where they need to go with the elevator, introduce them to whom they need to talk to, I would actually go take a video with my cell phone and send it to them. And then I would make sure I would call them at the end of the day. Hey, how'd your first day go? And then
we should do that with everybody.
The third day. I would call them the next week, and I would follow up with them to make sure that expectations. And then I was also calling the client as well, because I ran a 360 desk. So it's like, hey, how's everything going? Okay, all right, I can go and communicate. It's like I had to play liaison, but to make sure that that candidate actually stuck, because it's about them and it's about solving a business's problem. And so like taking that extra time, it's like I would show up with like a coffee and a bagel with like a schmear on it. Be like, hope you like this.
And you know what's funny about that?
Or not.
What you did right there, G Money, is called staffing support coordinator. That's what we need in every industry. I mean, every office. There should be like a staffing support coordinator that talks to the candidate all the time. The experience. I'm going to tell you first thing. I'm going to put a prototype of my experience, because they think they're like in freaking Disney World, because we have effing fun. I'm going to say it. We have fun with it. The hiring process with me is fun. It's not in a cubicle taking a test. And I tell people, this is why candidates keep coming back, and back again. And here's the reason why is even on websites now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I've seen this, and I'm working with a website designer now because I haven't had a website in 4 years because I did a study about it. I was going to say, can I be badass without a website? Now I'm getting one again, but the website's going to be all generated for the client and the candidate experience. It's going to be vibrant colors. It's not going to have all these words. It's not going to say, Shark was like, recruiter of the year. Nobody cares about that stuff. I'm going to bring it when they click on a button here. They feel like it's like just gone. It's going to guide them right through. like they're on a roller coaster, and it's pretty badass. Some of these designers, what they're doing now, but our industry and staffing hasn't done it yet. I've seen all the websites out there. They're not interactive with Facebook. They should be when you roll up on your, your podcast should be running right there when they can click on it right there and watch it. But it's all drop downs. It's like services. Nobody wants that drop down box anymore. I'm going to be honest with you. So the websites of the future got to be catered to the client and the candidate, especially the candidate.
So
That sounds like more work for Christina.
Yeah. So I want to wrap this up with a statement and get your guys' feedback. All these things we've been talking about today and on prior shows, they're very forward thinking, front facing, getting ahead of the trends, and AI is obviously a big topic around this, but I think what is missing here, because there's a lot of people listening in, they're a frontline recruiter, or they're a branch manager or an ops leader, or they're sales rep, or maybe they're in the field leaders. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Here's where it gets really sticky too, is they are handcuffed by their organization. They're handcuffed by the leadership, and you need leaders at the very top that are leading the charge when it comes to these adoptions with AI. Understanding and appreciating that, we have to be different. We can't just be transactional anymore with our customers. When they ask for 200 people, we need to be realistic about how long that's going to take and the quality of hire. And when in the past, they're just like, do whatever it takes to get the 200 people. We don't care how much turnover it is, like just get your fill rates up. So you have to have leaders from the top that are creating this narrative and leading. And I don't think we're seeing that across the board. We're lucky here. Talk to Reed Laws, our CEO, Carrie, our president. You talk to our marketing team, everybody in our company from top to the bottom. Like, we are embracing this. We have leaders that are they're open-minded. They want to try new things. They'll put money towards it, even if it fails. And I think that's missing. Do you guys agree? Disagree?
Oh, let me jump in real quick, and then you guys can elaborate. Lead by example. I got to tell you straight up. Why am I on my own now? Because I've dealt with that my whole life. Every staffing firm wants to box you in. Marketing, everything. I got to tell you, if you're a leader out there, you need to be on the ground running with them. You need to go to appointments with them. You need to learn the ATS system. I know so many leaders don't even know how to tap into like an ATS system, or even like call somebody. They don't even know the scripts or anything. I mean, all they know is the bottom line. That is no good. Little tidbit: if you're a leader and you're leaving on Friday afternoons while your workers are there and you're bragging, you're going on your boat, they're all going to leave, or they're not going to work for you.
That's not a leader. That's a boss. That's
exactly. And that's what we have in our industry. A lot of leaders there. I wish they would go to conferences. I wish they would learn. Listen, learn, lead. That is the 3 L's. If you guys can do that, you'll be a true leader. I say that over and over again. But I got to say, this is the disconnect. When I go to staffing firms, guys, the leadership is like, the recruiters don't say anything because they're scared of getting fired. So they just are they're miserable, just doing whatever they can, get a paycheck. And that's why these staffing firms are never becoming productive or never growing year after year, because they're fearful they're going to lose their job. And the leaders just, we're having a bad economy and all this stuff. No, I'm going to call the leaders out right now. Start leading. Start showing up at these events. Don't just send your recruiters. Go with them and learn too. Trust me. Amen. You will have double-digit growth in a year if you do that. I'm out of here.
Kim?
So what I would add to that is, okay, so let's say you have a leader that's maybe not the best leader, right? You just gave great advice, Rick, to them. But as an employee, just don't sit there and wring your hands and go, oh, I got a sucky leader. They're not helping me with X, Y, or Z. Be a problem solver and be a leader yourself at the desk level. If you're a recruiter, you're an account manager, right? If you see a problem that can be addressed through whatever means, build a straw man, build a framework, build a model, and go to your boss and say, hey, instead of just going and complaining about a problem, don't ever do that, right? You set forth a recommendation of here's an issue, here's a gap we have in our business, wherever that may be. Here's my suggestion, or here's what I built out for us to address it. What do you think of this, right? So again, problem solving, being resourceful versus just going, oh, I got a sucky leader and, my hands are tied. I can't do anything. Set forth a recommendation, right? No one wants a complainer. Always set forth a recommendation. And you never know. You may end up, it may get you recognized. You may get a promotion. You may make your life and everyone else's inherently easier. So again, whether you're, picking up the phone or whether you're the CEO, have a leadership mentality and a problem-solving mentality. If you see something that's broken, try to fix it.
Yep. Get that leader fired
Stephen,
then.
how many times have I called you because it's like, oh, I see this, or I think we can make it an improvement when it
Mhm.
comes to
Right.
in his previous role sales, but now he's more so operations. And so how many times have I called you being like, hey, what do you think about
Every
this?
day. Yeah. And it's fantastic. And Kim, I love that because you're 100% true. And sometimes that doesn't work out, right? You present a solution to a problem and they're like, hey, that's nice, but please go away.
Yeah.
And
The
so
point
it's
is,
like,
right,
okay,
just
well,
don't lament, right? Don't lament and complain. Try to set forth something that you'll find you'll be pleasantly surprised.
But here's the problem with that, Kim. I will say, I'll just push back a little bit. C-level people do not want to hear some of this stuff, if and they're not a good leader because they just are closed-minded, because everybody wants to have the idea. I think leaders need to accept it. And if somebody is a recruiter, has a great idea, give them the credit. Don't take the credit for them. And I see that happen all the time,
Yeah. As a leader, I loved ideas because no one person has every single thing figured out. I wanted those ideas. And I actually had a rule. I'm like, hey guys, if you're going to come to me with a complaint or something you're unhappy with, I want to hear that you've thought through it. What are your thoughts? What do you think that we can do to go and better this, right? What are your ideas? So I say that for any leader that's closed-minded to it, that's unfortunate and sad, right? And that individual has to kind of determine, okay, maybe I can stay here and work in this environment, or maybe I should move onward. But I think that the key is, if you're a leader, be open to it, create a culture where you enable people to problem solve, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
We don't want, I used to call it no learned helplessness, right? You don't want your people bringing a problem to you and you solve every problem to where they're constantly coming to you going, oh my God, can you help me tie my shoes, where they become helpless. You want them to set forth recommendations and learn how to think on their own, because ultimately you're supposed to have them replace you, down the road, right? That's called succession planning. You want to train them to take your job and think for themselves and become independent thinkers. So,
And
Kim, I think you summed it up there. You got 99 problems with that leader, right?
but what I want to just follow up with something Kim just said. It's like, ultimately you want to go and have your replacement. You want that whole succession thing. And Stephen and I, we talked about like this, because even in my old previous world of hospitality, I don't make many referrals. Okay. Because my name, especially in where I live, it's out there. I can't go into the grocery store without being recognized, or someone being like, oh my gosh, I know you from this.
G-Money.
G-Money.
in the grocery store.
Live from Jersey Shore. G-Money.
But they call me Lady G. And then some of the girls used to call me Mama G. But I really can't go places without being recognized, especially within that industry. And so it was very rare for me to go and refer someone. And going back to Christina Williams with my boss, Mark, I was just like, he was like, oh, I think we need this. And I was like, Christina Williams, because I'm never going to refer someone who I think is doesn't have the same work ethic or quality. And I want someone who I know can be better than me.
Yep.
And
So-
as a leader, don't be scared of that.
No.
Do it.
No, you want to hire your replacement. I hired my replacement, who's 10 times better than me in sales. And
Yes, he
I
is.
was
No.
not intimidated at all. I was freaking stoked. Shout out to Jim Stedman. So here's the thing, just as a case study, back to Kim, like, you present the challenge, you work with leadership, and if you have a good leader, they're gonna listen and maybe apply what you've suggested. And the ones that don't, you may end up just moving on and finding a company that sees, the same vision you see. John Biev and I, we came from a $4 billion conglomerate. We presented an idea to the C-suite of this very podcast. Not the same title, not the same name, but the idea, the concept. And they're like, oh, that's really nice, but let's talk a year from now, right? And then when we came over here and presented the idea, our leadership was like, this sounds edgy, it sounds a little scary, but awesome. Like, let's try it.
And
Right.
Within my first week of being here, seems like, so can you do me a favor and pop on the podcast?
I love it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta have leadership that embraces and leads from the front. And I think that's a good way to wrap this up. Kim and Richard, you guys have one more summer school series event. Is that right?
Yes.
We
Next
do.
Wednesday.
Or is that
Yes.
Can you
The
spend
23rd.
a quick minute on what to expect?
All right. Okay. So what the Shark and I are going to bring is a playbook. See, keeping in line with the staffing playbook on differentiation, gaining client share, and value add. Because we talked about this earlier, it's hard to differentiate yourself in staffing today. So we're going to talk through some of the ways to do that. And then further, how to go and gain client share, get the most that you can, the most placements you can, market share out of each individual client instead of that one and done chasing a job order. And then finally, as we all know, it's about adding value, right? It's not just about, giving a placement. How do you add value all throughout the sale, right? While they're a prospect, while you're working with them, and even after the sale. What are some of the things that we can do to add value, to stand out, and again, differentiate ourselves from our competition? And Shark, what else? What else can I add?
One more word I'm going to say. We bring value, but you're going to bring entertainment. Bring my famous word, valuetainment. People like humor. Trust me, this is what makes you different from everybody else. So yeah, definitely check us out next Wednesday, 12 o'clock, high noon Eastern time. It's not going to be recorded, nothing like that. So it's a one-shot deal, and then we're done till the fall. Woo!
Yeah, I think it's 1 o'clock, Shark. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh shit! It is 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
They can come in early. What the hell?
Kim's our compass. She keeps us on the
I
path.
think it's-
He is.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys. This has been an engaging conversation. Thank you for the audience, for your comments. A lot of fun here. By the way, for those of you going to Aviante Connect, I know Richard is. I'll be there. Kim,
Where was my invite?
I'm
we'll
not
talk
there.
about that later.
Yeah, TB and I, T-Money.
Yes, put that shirt up, everybody.
So-
We'll down the 4th,
First 10 people to come up to me and say they watched the Staffing Playbook podcast, saw Kim and Richard t-shirt. First 10 people. Staffing Playbook.
There it
t-shirt.
is.
Aviante
And then
Connect.
let me give a plug real quick. The staffing tailgate next week for Aviante Connect, next Thursday and Friday from 12 o'clock to 3 with all kind of speakers, guests, vendors, and everything else. So tune in on LinkedIn next Thursday and Friday.
Woo!
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Let's do a quick wrap.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot today.
Well, I think we're running out of time, so we gotta run, John Viev.
Okay, well, I was just going to make it fast, but okay, so here's the thing. All right, time to fill is no longer the top priority. It is quality over quantity, all right? We are not using the word temp anymore. These are contractors. These are actually people, and people matter. We are selling solutions, okay? Not just selling business. AI, lean into it. And more companies are actually increasing their tech budget. And compared to 2024, it went from 48% and now upwards, it's to 61%. Correct, Kim? See, look, I listen. Omni-channel marketing. And here's the thing, get in communication with your sales, ops, recruiting, marketing team. Use it like a zipper. Okay, you guys have got to work together. And then I think every company needs to go and start thinking about what AI tools can assist in the candidate journey, not take over the entire candidate journey. Because that whole onboarding thing, that personal touch, that still matters. Do not forget referrals, because they matter. Also, thank you, staffing referrals. But also that whole leadership mindset. You've got to be open to change. And I really love what the Shark said. Listen, learn, lead. Okay. And then, all right, don't forget the summer school staffing series. That's going to be Wednesday, July 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Jeez, what a
And
great
before we go,
recap.
Steve, I got to give a shout out to Monty Block. He's out there listening today. He's the OG of staffing. My brother, there he is, the legend in staffing right there.
There he is. All right.
All right. Well,
love
thank
it.
you everyone for tuning in. What a great episode. And we'll have these two back, I think, in 2 weeks. So
You got
Let's
it.
go.
Thank you, Steve.
Got it.
Thank you, G-Money. We'll see you next time. Shark, see you next week.
See you
All right.
Sunday, Shark Week. Don't forget.
Shark Week. Take care.
hey, thanks for watching today's episode. This episode is sponsored by Staffing Referrals. We have relied on staffing referrals for years to turn satisfied associates into brand ambassadors, keeping quality talent coming in and lift retention. See what it can do for you at staffingreferrals.com or click on the link in the description. Thanks for watching.